I'm KHA11 meteorologist Kim Castro. Happy Monday. Loud start to the day. Those thunderstorms woke me up. I'm sure they disrupted your commute to work or any plans that you had early this morning. Luckily, the 60% chance of storms today is mainly out of the way. We can see a few lingering showers this afternoon. I'm going to walk you through what is going to be a pretty unstable weather pattern for us this week. Very different from what we've seen the last few weeks when it's just been warm and humid. Now we've got some active weather to track. So we go from that 60% chance today to 30% tomorrow. On our Wednesday, we'll see another spike in a storm potential, and that's because we've got another disturbance that's going to roll through the area. Otherwise, we've just got this stationary boundary that's going to stay with us at least through the end of the work week, with a 30% chance for storms, and even into the weekend there's a chance for some showers, but it starts to drop off from there. Here's a live look from our Galleria shot. So you'll notice not only has the rain wrapped up, we're actually starting to see some clearing with the cloud cover. Bush Intercontinental Airport right now 76 degrees, lingering showers along the coastline. So Galveston at 70 with a few storms still there. Brenham though, so if you're going north, you're seeing some nice clearing. 81 degrees there. The peak of sunshine is doing wonders for the forecast today. I think our high temperature maxes out around 82 degrees for this afternoon. You'll notice mainly rain has cleared. However, an isolated shower, meaning very focused areas, could see a lingering rain shower even into this afternoon, but it's not going to be widespread. So this is what I'm thinking. By this afternoon, maybe Aldine gets a little rain. Maybe Genoa could see an isolated pocket of rain. Tomball with an isolated pocket. Take this with a grain of salt as an idea as to what we can expect this afternoon, so not the exact location, but you'll notice maybe a few isolated pop-up showers still possible as this front kind of lifts a little bit further north, but otherwise it has done its job and now it's pushing well offshore. So here's a loop this morning. You'll notice it started off pretty inconsequential, but the line really got going once it passed spring, and once we got into the loop in the Beltway, wow, we saw some significant rainfall totals. So if you live on the northwest side, say in the Heights, you just got a quick passing thunderstorm, but not a ton of accumulation. Now, if you're trying to catch a flight at Hobby, you probably had some major issues trying to get there this morning. We had reports of high water spots, possibly some flight delays came of this. There was not just a ton of rainfall, but quite a bit of lightning too, and that's what we saw throughout the morning, pushing towards Matagorda and Brazoria, so towards the coastline. Here's a look at our neighborhood weather network. So these are actual rain gauges in people's houses. If you live along Westview, Sunset Boulevard, just about ½ an inch to an inch of rain out towards Rice. East College Street, about 1.5 inches. If I take you a little further west, that was the consensus, 1.5 inches to 2 inches, which is very manageable. What's not so manageable is once we get up to 3-4 inches of rainfall, which is what we saw Brookhaven down to Alameda, Brookside Village 4 inches, Hobby Airport between 3 to 4. So that's why those areas had some issues. Now, it was momentary issues because our bayous are actually doing fantastic. We haven't had rain in a few weeks, so And what we saw today will actually help out the drought monitor. And now that things have subsided, we'll be pretty good to go about our day today. Number of strikes along the coastline right now, about 168. So this updates every 10 minutes. Now we've got 173, pretty even count between positive and negative strikes. The difference between those, negative strikes come from the base of the thunderstorm cell down to the ground. Positive strikes come from the top of the thunderstorm. So they travel a much further distance with a lot more intensity. They're actually 10 times stronger. So anytime I see this number is a lot higher than the negative count, I know these thunderstorms are intensifying. Luckily, we're not seeing that. And again, they're just pushing offshore at this point. But yeah, if you look out towards the coastline, you'll see a couple of lightning strikes. Look at the very impressive rainfall totals that we saw for Brazoria and Matagorda County. So Spray Lane, more than 5 inches of rain. So anytime we see those purple signatures, that signals about 5 inches. There's a couple bullseye spots for those two counties that we saw. Down towards Angleton, Oak Park Court, about 3.5 inches. Bay City, about 3.5 inches. Again, that was the area that got 5 inches of rainfall. At this point, the stationary boundary is starting to drop some of the cloud cover and a little bit of humidity, especially the further north and west that you go. So you saw that shot of Brennan. There's a lot of sunshine there. That's why. You'll start to see some clearing too inside the loop in the Beltway throughout the afternoon as that boundary continues to push towards the coastline. So we go from a 60% chance for storms today to 30% tomorrow, and then eventually a 50%. That stationary front is going to build back in as a warm front. There's also going to be a disturbance working in with it, and so we'll maximize on the moisture potential on Wednesday again, and then Thursday into Friday we'll still have at least a chance for a few scattered storms. But I think at that point we will have wrung out the atmosphere quite a bit and used up a good chunk of the moisture that we have streaming in from the Gulf. So again, the two rainiest days of the week for us, today and Wednesday. Those are the chances that you've got to see some shower activity in your neighborhood. Here's a snapshot of the rain potential over the next 5 days. So each and every day you've at least got some likelihood of seeing showers in your particular area. However, when we start to see kind of those reflectivities with the yellows, that could signal some stronger thunderstorms. No severe threat for us this week as of yet, but just watch the forecast at least once a day. We're going to do these 10-minute updates each day so you could have a really good idea as to what you can expect as we go forward in time. So the main takeaway from the weather story this week is rain is back. Temperatures are going to take a back seat. Yeah, we're going to be a couple degrees above average on most days, but it's Houston. We kind of expect that anyways. Average temperature for this time of year should be 81 degrees. We'll just be 1 degree warmer today, so that's pretty average. Tomorrow, a couple degrees warmer, 86. Wednesday, with an increased chance for showers. I think some of that rain will cool down our atmosphere a little bit, so 80 degrees for a high. And then we'll slowly start to build on those temperatures, mid to upper 80s throughout the rest of the week and even into the start of next week. Humidity is going to be around. Ugh, I know. So outdoor activities really aren't going to be the best this week. Not only because we've got the rain in the forecast, but we also have pretty warm temperatures and pretty high humidity. So if you'd like to do those outdoor walks or outdoor runs, this is going to be a character building week. You'll notice the dew points are going to be in the upper 60s to even low 70s. So that's humid to even a tropical feel. And there's nothing that's going to wipe that away. We don't have any big cold fronts moving through the area. This is a warm front that's lifting in. So that's why there's a ton of humidity in the area. Tonight, the added humidity and the added cloud cover means temperatures are not going to drop very much. So find your neighborhood. Do you live in Copperfield, Hunters Creek? You'll dip down to 71 degrees tonight. You live in Bel Air, 72 degrees. Gulf Crest, you'll dip down to 73. 73 in Edo as well. 71 Acres Homes to Aldine. Upper 60s in Tomball. So maybe you see a little less cloud cover this afternoon. And so some of that warmth radiates back out into space. But this is just minuscule, okay? Little tiny shifts. Upper 60s to low 70s pretty much everywhere. 74 degrees in Galveston, Bush Intercontinental Airport. I think you dip down to around 68 degrees. Your 7-day forecast looks like this. Okay, so we talked about storms mainly for this morning, a 60% chance there. High temperature today makes it up to 82. Tomorrow, the storm potential is mainly isolated. We'll start off at 68 and we'll warm up a bit. 86. You'll see a good amount of sunshine for tomorrow. I think mostly cloudy for your Wednesday. 50% chance for not just showers, but storms, starting off at 70, maxing out at 80. For Thursday, now we're just tracking a few storms. That continues into Friday. So your Thursday and Friday will look pretty similar. We'll start off in the low 70s, 72 for a morning temperature. And then by the afternoon, 84 degrees is your high on Thursday. We'll start to increase the warmth a little bit for your Friday, 87 at that point. If you're trying to make plans for this weekend already, you'll notice you're not going to have too much shower activity. So a 20% chance for showers both Saturday and Sunday. You'll notice the temperature forecast is pretty identical, so just an 86 degrees for your highs on Saturday and Sunday with a mixture of sun and clouds. So yes, this is overall a pretty wet week for us. Rain chances each and every day, but it's not going to be rain that's a complete wash. And I think the powerful storms that we had today, the only chance to see that again will be by the middle of the week. Once more, things are starting to improve across the area. Got a couple of spots like Brenham and Pearland seeing some plenty of sunshine. I'll leave you with your Monday forecast. A mixture of sun and clouds for today, an isolated shower in the afternoon possible. Your high temperature, 82 degrees. Grab your umbrella and hold on to it for the rest of the week.